Alright guys, welcome to 4.6 Savage. Now today we have a video on 4.6 liter Romeo versus Windsor. So first off, we're going to start with the Romeo. And we're going to compare the two. The Romeo has bolt-on cam girdles, where the Windsor has individual cam girdles. Now this means your cam covers, or girdles, have bolts in them and they're set across the whole cam, where you have two on the Romeo and you have individual journals on the Windsor. You have an 11 bolt valve cover on the Romeo, where you have a 13 to 14 bolt Windsor valve cover. Now you have a 6 bolt crank on the Romeo. You have an 8 bolt crank on the Windsor. Now, you have floating pins on the Windsor. Another thing you have pressed. You have floating pins on the Windsor, and you have pressed fit pins on the Romeo. Now the jack screw, you have jack screw cross bolt main caps on the Romeo, and you have dowel pin caps on the Windsor. So it's kind of an even thing there. What most people like about the Romeo, though, it has bolt-on cam gears, where the Windsor has press-on gears. Now this makes it so much easier to change cams, because most people end up switching over to Romeo anyway, or at least using Romeo gears. They slide on real easy. You just unbolt them, knock them off, put the new ones on, and it's pretty easy. Slides in the keyway. There's really no difference in time covers. The only time you get into timing cover problems is when you're looking at dual overhead cam applications versus single overhead cam applications. I have a Romeo. I've honestly never worked on a Windsor. I also know the Windsor valve covers use the oil fill on the opposite side of the Romeo. So on the driver's side would be the Romeo, on the passenger side would be the Windsor. But all in all, they're basically the same engine. They do the same thing. They're just, one's different than the other. I honestly have not seen any power differences, any strength differences. It's just a different way they were manufactured. Romeo was the first plant to build engines. They mostly made Mustang engines and everything. Windsor was more for the trucks. And Windsor started in '96, and that's why supposedly the Mustangs are supposed to have them in '96. My VIN code says I have an X, which would be a Windsor, and when it comes back, when the engine comes back, it's a Romeo, and I don't think the engine's been replaced. It might have, but I don't think that piece of information is true. I always look at the valve cover and figure out by the things. Well, that's all for this video, so hope you like my short explanation on Romeo versus Windsor, and remember, be savage.